Welcome to Questionable Piano Lessons with Jonathan L. Segal. I am he, episode 7. I don't know if you noticed that I ended on the James Bond chord, the G minor major 7. It's when they tie him up, and you don't know what's going to happen in the next scene. Cut to the next scene. Okay. Wow, it just got darker in here. The sun, as soon as I start playing Autumn Leaves, the sun went behind the clouds, but I think you can see the keyboard. Okay, so that's Autumn Leaves, and we're going to get to that song when we start jazz a couple of episodes from now. Okay, C major arpeggio, right hand. 1, 2, 3, pivot. You should know it by now. Left hand, 5, 4, 2, 1. No 3. Pivot, keep it. Don't pivot up. Don't do that. Just together. Why is together interesting? I think I mentioned it last time. Because the left doesn't use 3 and the right doesn't use 4. So you may have these fingerings separately, but check yourself out. Thumbs meet on C. Are you omitting 3 on the left? You should. Are you omitting 4 on the right? You should. And there is nothing in the world that feels like a C major arpeggio or a major arpeggio being played with 2 hands. People of the world know all sorts of different sensations. Piano players, you know what that feels like. So work on it, keep it even. Blues. Okay, we've done grace notes. We've done tremolos, 6th, 3rds, 4ths. Improv, keeping this bouncing. Are you getting tired of hearing that left hand always in the same place? Good, because we're now going to do what's called a 12-bar blues. I'm going to keep the camera on the keyboard, so you may want to write something down or just memorize this. In the key of C major, a chord built on the first note is called a 1 chord. So this we call C7, or it could be also this version. There is the 7th. If it's built on the 4th note of this scale, it's a 4 chord, or an F7. If it's built on the 5th note, it's called a G7. So we're going to use those 3 chords to make our blues infinitely more interesting. C, we're going to go down to F. Why down? Because it sounds good. So here's the pattern. You might want to write it down. C, F, C. Bars. Here's the 5th bar. F, F, C. C, that was 8 bars. G, C, and at the end, oh, there's a million ways to do this. We'll just do this. What does that tell you? It tells you it's not over. It's going to keep going because you're going to play it all day long. So here is the plain old blues exercise, just a scale, but instead of staying on C, we are going to integrate that 12-bar left hand. So watch and listen. C, F, C, C, 2, 3, 4, F, F, C, 2, 3, 4, G, F. Let's see, that's gonna be a mess. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's how I'm gonna do it. Here's your ending. Watch it together, they're contrary motion. So you're going to do G at the end, F, and then we're going to do this. Now, the whole fun of this is improvising over that left hand. So I will now demonstrate very simple improv. You don't want your left hand to fall apart. You want it to bounce, and you want to make these jumps. Practice jumping. C to F, F to G, G, F, F, C. Do it till you can do it. You may even want to watch your left hand when you do this. I'm going to keep the right hand real simple the first time. The fact that I change chords makes my right hand more interesting. G. Okay, now let's have a little fun with it. No ending. Work on that. Okay. That's a real 12-bar blues. Remember, we're just working the key of C. Everything can happen in 12 keys, and we will get to that. Okay, I want to switch to another subject. I may not get to the minuet today. I want to talk about intervals. Intervals are the distance, the mathematical distance between two notes. I'm not talking about time, I'm talking about space. So, C to C sharp, it is called a minor second. It's also called a half step. How can you remember the sounds of these intervals? Because every melody you play in the world is made up of intervals. So how can I remember them? This is kind of like Name That Tune. What song do you know that starts with this? I'll do it here. Half step. Right? The Entertainer. Or Jaws, Don't Go Back on the Water, especially when you're playing the piano. That's a half step, a minor second. This is a major second, or a whole step. Can you name a song that starts with this? I can think of a million of them. Let's use... Or... That's the sound of a major second, ascending. We're only talking about going up for now. Okay, next one. Minor third. 3 half steps. This is 0, 1, 2, 3. It's a whole step plus a half step. We call it a minor third. Okay, what do you know that starts with this? You know the blues scale. That minor third is so important in the blues. Okay, major third. 4 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Have yourself Merry Little Christmas, Obla Di, Obla Da. Oh, sorry. The Marines hymn, if you're in the service. You need some way to remember the sound of a major third. You probably know a zillion pop songs. What are those the first 2 notes of? That's what you want to remember. Okay, I'm going to go to the middle. I'm going to go halfway today. The next one is a perfect fourth. We don't call it major, we call it perfect. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 half steps. Okay, Snow White. Hi-ho, hi-ho. There's a joke about that, but it's not politically correct anymore, so I won't tell it. Okay, 5 half steps. What else? Well, Mozart goes down and goes back up. Eine kleine Nachtmusik. Are you getting married? Congratulations! Don't forget to tip your piano player. That's a perfect fourth. Remember it. We're going to do one more. An augmented fourth. To augment means to make something larger. It also can be called, here's a fifth, perfect fifth, a diminished fifth. A fourth made larger or a fifth made smaller. In the Middle Ages, you weren't supposed to use that sound in composing. They burn you at the stake. But you couldn't have Western music without it. You couldn't have James Brown. You couldn't have jazz. You couldn't have Broadway. You couldn't have Mozart. So, how do I know this sound? West Side Story, if you know it, is loaded with it. First thing in the show. And Cool. And Maria. He cleverly makes it into a ballad. So those are half your intervals. Minor second, major second, minor third, major third, perfect fourth, augmented fourth, also known as a diminished fifth. Get to know those sounds. We'll do the other half the octave next time, and we'll do the minuet. Okay, and let's close with this. It's the time of year, at least while I'm recording it. That's the Count Basie ending. And that's the end of Questionable Piano Lessons. This is episode 7 with Jonathan L. Segal.